Hello, welcome to our webinar. Learn how to get on top of your bakery's operations and production costs with Sage X3. The agenda for today, after brief intros of our speakers and Penny, we will speak about the challenges in the bakery business, followed by what Sage X3 offers to the industry. After that, we'll have a question and answer session. Here are some housekeeping rules. If you have any questions, just type them into the chat box. We will answer all your questions at the end. If we run out of time, we will follow up with you in the next 3 business days. Lastly, we will send you a recording of the webinar in the next few days. And of course, do not forget to enjoy the webinar. Here's a little bit about us, Penny. We have been in the ERP implementation and consultancy business for almost 15 years. We provide ERP and related services for the food and beverage, distribution, manufacturing, chemicals, cannabis, and hemp industries. Our local and offshore development and support offices enable us to provide quick turnaround times for our clients. Combining this with the in-depth industry experience of our consultants, it enables us to help our customers achieve and exceed their business goals. Let's begin with the introduction of our 2 speakers. First off, we have Abu Bakr Asif, the president of Penny, followed by one of our senior business analysts with tons of experience in the industry, Alex Altamirano. Abu, please introduce yourself.
My name is Abu. I'm the founder here at Penny. We have been providing consulting services in the chemicals, food and beverage, cannabis sector since 2009. We are premier Sage X3 partner based here in Calgary. We're excited to be here today and showcase the solution. Over to you, Alex.
Hello, guys. My name is Alex Altamirano. I've been in the manufacturing and distribution industries for more than 20 years in different sectors, and also part of the joint Penny management team 4 years ago. I'm working with Sage X3. So I'm being part of the presentation for demoing how X3 is a very powerful tool for your business.
All right. Thanks, Omer, for opening the presentation today. So I'm going to talk about baking industry's challenges today and how this is going to drive your business processes and efficiencies across the supply chain. So some of the 3 or 4, obviously we have more challenges, but these are the 4 key challenges the bakeries are facing today. So one is shelf life and expiry management. Shelf life is often dictated by big box retailers. For example, when you're shipping the product to them, it must have a certain amount of shelf life expiry before you can even ship to them. And then again, your expiry management of your raw materials and also your end product. Complicated with the fact is, for example, if you're doing both kind of long shelf life products like biscottis or shorter shelf life products like bread, then they introduce more complexities into shelf life and expiry life management for your bakery goods. You obviously have supply chain disruptions. You have labor shortage, you have transportation shortage, especially if you're importing goods from overseas, from Brazil, from India. Then you're really impacted by shipping shortages, container shortages, and so on. What all of that obviously means is this price point inflation in not only in your raw materials but in your labor cost and so on. Allergen control is a key issue. It not only drives what kind of products you're making, the product mix that you're selling to the customers, but also how are you going to manage your production line. For example, if you have a nut allergen in one of your bakery products, then you cannot run the same production line until you undergo a clean and thorough process, sanitation process for the next allergen bakery product run. Customer preferences are changing. People are looking for less calorie products. They're looking for gluten-free products. In COVID, they will move towards more fresher bakery products compared to more non-fresh products like cookies and so on. They're looking for sometimes shorter packaging, less portion size, and so on. What does all of this mean as a bakery? Three things that really impacts our supply chain costs. Your raw material prices are going up, your labor costs are going up, your machine costs are going up. Your production costs, similarly, it's impacting your production costs. Uh, you have to be on top of your production costs in terms of your labor, in terms of your product efficiency, in terms of your scheduling efficiency, in terms of the wastage of your product. And to manage all of this, to be on top of your supply chain and production costs and how to improve efficiency, you need the right IT system, the right ERP product to make sure that you have the data on hand to make those decisions to keep costs low for the company. IT infrastructure. A lot of bakeries today have disparate systems uh, rather than having one centralized ERP system. So, for example, you can be running an accounting system on one system like QuickBooks, and then you have other smaller systems to run your bakery operations, your manufacturing operations, and so on. So what does that mean? Is there's no one consolidated view of the data. The integration is costly. You have to maintain data in 2 or 3 different kind of systems. And when you have to upgrade, there's a whole sequence of planning. You have to upgrade the accounting system, you have to upgrade the manufacturing system, and so on, which obviously causes a lot of complexity in managing those systems. So if you're moving to one platform, what it helps is, you have data integrity, you have streamlined operations. If you want to look at cost and manufacturing data, you can look at it in one system, as Alex is just going to show you later in the demo when he demos the product today. And what does it all mean? It means lower systems maintenance costs and better informed and real-time decision making. So what does Sage X3 offers for bakeries? As I said, it's one solution. It's not a desperate solution. It has one solution which includes everything from your demand planning, orders and forecasts, to your materials and ingredient and allergen management, your inventory management, your purchasing, product control, warehousing, marketing, customer service, financials, budget accounting, you name it. So your entire company can be run in one system instead of having 2 or 3 or 4 different kind of systems. Especially as your bakery grows, if you have multiple product lines, you have multiple geographical areas to serve, the importance of having one system becomes really important. And obviously, one of the key things for any food or beverage or any bakery is the traceability, forward and backward, tracing your sales right down to your individual raw material that has been consumed in making that end bakery product. So Sage X3 for bakery operations, these are the key items that the bakery needs, like traceability, quality management, inventory management, allergen, lot tracking, and so on. And Sage X3 covers each and every aspect in a lot of great detail to help you run your bakery operations smoothly. One of the advantages of Sage X3 is you can use as much as you want, or you can only use certain features if you like. So a little bit more about traceability. Product recalls can be expensive, and you have to make sure that you have complete traceability within your product line, right? You can trace right down from the supplier to producer, processor, subcontractor, retailer, and customer, right? So if you sell it, you must be able to track it very quickly and efficiently. If you have multiple systems, disparate systems, that can become a challenge. For example, your sales system is different, your sales invoicing system is different, but your manufacturing system is different, or tying the two information together, what are the mistakes and issues between the two systems, that is going to then become a costly product recall. Another thing that often happens is when a product recall comes in, a lot of time you're wasting products which should not be under recall because you do not have clear traceability, so you're ending up wasting more product than you actually have to. So Sage X3 helps reduce these traceability and product recall risks by providing one system and right down to each and every document level for the traceability purpose. Quality control, again, very important for your bakery business. You can have continuous inspection throughout packaging and production, QC testing and analysis of raw material, intermediate finished goods, so you can have each and every level of your bakery operation. You can also have testing for your machine and sanitation cycles as well. And obviously all test results are recorded and maintained together with production history. You can be making the same bakery product with multiple and different recipes. You can have multi-level bombs to manage it, or you can have intermediate goods. So all of that you can trace with Sage X3. So, I talked about regulatory compliance in terms of product recall based on your Safe Canada Act standard, and similarly on the US side as well. So, Sage X3 provides full forward and backward traceability, security and audit tracking, and maintains full traceability of all the records with EDI and give you a 360-degree view of your business. So you can manage your purchasing and procurement. Alice is going to perhaps show you a little bit more about it. You also have advanced things like inventory count, purchase requests, budget monitoring, and so on. And the key thing here is it's all integrated within one system. So your supplier, your payment process, your purchasing process, your inventory process, you can have just one view within the system. So inventory management, so we support barcode scanning, support for directed operations such as put away and pick planning and scheduling. You can search by lots, sublots. You have traceability in real time. And the data, that's the key thing over here is it enforces data control. A lot of times, bakery operations or food manufacturing operations, the system is showing that the raw material is over there, but since it's not real-time information, when they actually go to pick up the product, they find that the product is missing. So what Sage X3 enforces with its inventory management capabilities is to make sure that you have real-time data, and also not real-time, but accurate real-time data. Key thing to drive efficiencies across your organization is to have that the right personnel have the right information at their for the dashboard, that they can look at it quickly rather than trying to run complicated reports or creating reports around the business. So for example, if you're a production manager or a warehouse manager or a finance accountant with different roles, so you can have your dashboards that are tailored to your needs so that it's at your fingertips what you need to do to run your bakery operations smoothly. We talked about expiry date management earlier. We have lot number tracking, expiry date attribute, inventory visibility, and what Sage X3 can also do is, for example, if the product expires in 6 months or 2 months, it can automatically expire the product for you and prevent you from shipping or consuming it in further production orders. EDI connectivity. So no company or no bakery operates in a silo, right? Your partners, whether they're customers or suppliers, they're demanding electronic data integration, electronic exchange of documents from your company, not only to execute orders faster, but also to have better visibility and more control on your operations. Some bigger retailers will drive those EDI standards in a much more way, and your system must be able to support it. So Sage X3 supports all sorts of EDI capabilities from multiple EDI standards. Integration of the EDI is built within the system, so it's not like an add-on. So it provides you a much smoother, much more robust EDI capabilities, and hence allows you for real-time data exchange. As your bakery grows, intercompany often becomes becomes more important. As you grow, oftentimes bakeries would acquire another bakery. They would have geographic expansion, go up into the US and start serving 2 international markets. So you need a system where you can manage both different companies together. You can manage suppliers and customer orders within the company. So for example, one of the bakeries get an order and you need raw materials from another bakery within your group, then you can do an intercompany order and maintain and manage all of that within one system and have complete visibility and control of the process. So again, I talked about for example, if your bakery has presence in both Canada and US, for example, then the system has the capability, multi-company, multi-site, and the multi-legislation structure to run your entire bakery business from within one system. So outcomes for bakeries, Sage X3 helps to minimize waste, reduce risks, and accelerate compliance. So you're able to respond faster, minimize the waste, as a result of just making sure whether the data available on hand to make those decisions, to look at production history and look at what you can do to reduce it, and overall, reduces the risk of product recall and helps you quickly adapt to changing customer needs and preferences. So Sage actually has single and multi-site management. You can have multiple sites and so on, and it can manage everything for you for your bakery. So Alex, over to Alex. He's going to show you for the next 30 minutes or so some key aspects of of how Sage X3 can help you run your bakery operations. Obviously, 30 minutes is not enough time to show you everything, but he's going to show you some key aspects for the bakery industry. Over to you, Alex.
Thank you, Abu, for that great presentation. So as he said, X3, sorry for that, is a very complete platform. As you can see, I have right now a very simple dashboard that I like to use as part of my presentation, as it resembles a lot of different aspects and departments from a regular manufacturing company. So we have the options in order to say, what are my sales? What are my orders? What is my forecast? Regular sales are also driven, or all the demand is driven by your sales. And this is also being put into the system. So as a general part, we have the options to see each and every part of the aspect of your business. So we're talking about your sales part. You can check on this. You can talk about your part of your manufacturing, general activities linked to your purchasing that are required to have the correct inventory when you require, with the quantities that you require, which is a very good and very important aspect of a company that is into the food and beverage, especially as part of the bakery, as well as each and every of the steps for your manufacturing. At the end, everything gets completed as part of your production tracking. It goes part of your quality control process. And at the end, it just fulfills your sales order, converts us into sales delivery. And from the sales deliveries, of course, it goes to your invoicing, accounts receivable, and part of your general financing process. Similar to your complete holistic view of your purchasing. Once you receive the merchandise, then you create your transactions for your purchasing invoices, and that would run your accounts payable process as part of your finance core. So this is a general big or very high level view of each and every of your aspects. And as he said, we already have, like, this is kind of my dashboard. Each and every of your functions from your organizations may have a unique and specific dashboard. So if you talk about general and specific for a quality control process, you're going to see a few things that, well, are going to be part of my receiving, part of my production, part of my worksheet quality control process, part of all my records of they need to compliance, in order to make all these records included into the system as part of your inventory management control, part of your quality control management, part of your recall process, part of your expiry date process, everything in one simple holistic system. Okay, so let's just go back a little bit about talking about your general manufacturing. So part of the process that is very important in your any bakery is the supply chain. Well, supply chain tells you when to buy, what to buy, and when it should be available at the moment that it should be applied into your manufacturing process. So if I just go here to my planning part, I also like to use about this specific hot links that I have on the bottom, and I have a specific screens in order to make it. So let's just talk about a little bit about having a specific product that I already have identified as part of my requirements. So this is a bread. Let us just put something else. So this is going to be a little bit about how this is going to be required. Okay, as you can see, I can also do a filtering for my allergens, and then I just do basically a search. So here you will tell me a lot of the history, a lot of part that, okay, what's happening within these two specific products. These are two finished good products. And as you can see here, they're already telling me, well, you have a lot of different customer suggestions that you may already have seen it there into the system, and you need to supply all of this information. As you can see, we have a lot of information here, and it will also put what is happening with your different process and your orders. Here with this view, you can select and you can create directly a work order. Let me just put another product for us to show that part. And let's do a search. So here, as you see, this is another product, like a general part of a granola. If it would be similar to another process, and you can see here's a lot of different suggestions that would be part of that. But here's part of this work order. So you can have here from a work order perspective for your planning, what is going to be required for you to put in your system and start putting this into your planning for your shop floor. So this is a very powerful tool because at this point I am only using the finished good products. But of course, if I need to see, well, what's happening with all my intermediate products, just as a kind of a part, just a very simplistic part, I'm going to use this semi-intermediate product. And now you will see that each of these products that were triggered from my sales and they were placed into my sales orders, now they're belonging and now they're putting about what is the material that I need to fulfill as part of my intermediates. And if I just go back, this will trigger to all my different raw materials that I would require either to fulfill or even to purchase for those specific intermediate products. Okay, so this is like a very powerful tool that in one screen you can manage all your parts, all your products from your finished goods, your intermediates, as well as your raw materials. So if I just go here to my general raw materials, into other different raw materials, let me just think about it, if that's the case. Yep. You just go there and it will tell me, well, out of that and everything that you may have, this is something that now it becomes about what to purchase, when to purchase, and what is it are the complete requirements. Okay, so this is a kind of a general power tool that is using all the information from the system, from your requirements, in order to provide you a complete list of products that you are required to fulfill and when they would be available into the system. So as you can see here, there's also not only the materials requirement, but it also tells me, hey, for all these products that you have here, you need to require and make a suggestion and make all of this suggested purchase that now there will come a purchase order. So I can just basically click on here and select it, make this click on this plan to order, and automatically I will be creating this specific purchase order for the supplier, and then I can just send this information to my supplier. Once this information is already being in place, then the system will know that this is no longer a suggestion. This is a firm order, and it will know when this material is going to be available for the next round and when you can start doing your planning for this specific product. And of course, everything gets included into just one single basically platform that you can resemble for all your different materials. So it's not only about your finished good, but your intermediates, your raw materials, and you can see there's a lot of different information about your suggestions and how to deal with that one, even who's your supplier, your suggested supplier that you would be required to put that information and that transaction into the system. Okay, so that's just a little bit about how the using a very powerful tool of the material request resource planning that is already embedded into the system will help you. Once you put information, you are talking about your materials, you're talking about your infrastructure, then it will tell you, the system will tell you what to buy, when to buy, considering your first expiry dates that you can manage within your products, as well as your minimum lots that you will require, even for your productions or even for your suppliers. If you have specific agreements that the suppliers need to manage about certain amounts, then you will be able then to use that part into the system in order then to make that specific process for doing the planning. So supply chain is a very important part of the system in every bakery company, and yet every disruption that you can get could be fatal. So with a good power tool as X3 within the MRP process, you can diminish and basically avoid any problematics that you may have within your supply chain disruption. How you basically deal with this? Okay, let's just go a little bit into your product. So as a general part into the product, I have here my raw material. This is a box. I have different options, and my tool is very flexible into an easy to use about what information I would like to use. So this is a demo environment. We have different products. So I'm just going to filter all my products that pertain to the food and beverage industry. So I have here part of my finished good products. I have here my breads, part of my intermediates, all my raw different materials, and everything are related only for raw for the food and beverage. So if I select here a finished good, kind of my bread, I can also put a very nice image of the product. But here's also very important part of your system is about how you're gonna manage your expiration part. In this case, we said, well, it only has a 30-day lead time. Sometimes in this case, we know that bread could be even lower, but because of the process, because of the conditions, yeah, we make it at maybe a 30-day lead time that it would be done. But according to this, we have also a potential that the coefficient before the 30 days go, 23 days, it will launch me a flag saying, hey, wait a minute, this product's already been staggered into your inventory. We need to move it, or we need to place it into a restricted condition status in order then to avoid that material to go through any of your process. As you can see, also part of the additional concept is that we have the option to use the lot management. So the lot management, it will be applied to your finished good products, to your intermediate products, to your raw materials, and all this information, all these transactions are being tracked directly from the system. The additional part also that we have as part of our products and the management of that very important part is that we have the options to say, well, this is a finished good product, it's a bread, and all the components are already being tracked within my bill of materials. And of course, my bill of materials, they go from my finished good products to my intermediate products as a dough or other activity, other parts, as well as my raw materials. And each already of the raw materials are identified with a flag, with a specific characteristic saying, this has already been identified as part of the allergens. So as you know, we have different allergens into the industry. We have eggs, potential milk, wheat, peanuts, crustaceans, sesame seed, sulfites, nuts, wheat. There are many other allergens that in the industry recognize, and each of them is being identified with a unique letter. So in this case, the bread is telling me that has the allergens that are identified with an E. So E is basically contains eggs. M basically is telling me that contains milk, and W that is basically containing wheat. So these are basically a roll-up that it was done for each and every of your raw materials that are included. So if I just go to my raw materials, and I just go here like in this part of chocolate bites, sugar, then it will tell you, well, this process into my granola has already NMP, sorry. NMP calls for nuts and peanuts. So if I'm going to use this product into my granola, this is going to roll up into my complete traceability moving forward from my raw materials all the way to your intermediates and all the way to your finished goods. So whenever you are doing a production tracking or a planning, all these flags are being considered as part of your planning. So of course, you cannot put start a process within the machine that the previous process had a specific allergen. You cannot go through to use that same material, that same machine, until you go through a process of doing a complete cleaning and release all these contaminants from the system. All that information is basically being tracked either at the product level, either at the product side level, or either also as part of your manufacturing process and system. So everything is basically linked together within which are your suppliers, which are your potential customers, if they require specific conditions or any additional mark. Okay. We also have serial number. I don't think that this is applicable to your part, but of course, if you think that any potential could be used, the system has already the capability to manage into the serial numbers. Okay. As part of the general process within the manufacturing, we talk a little bit about the allergen. So how the allergens are basically tracked, as I was showing a little bit into here into my enterprise planning. I can also search, doing a search within saying, well, list my products that they have these specific allergens. So in this case, I can only see, well, I want my products that contain wheat. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to see list my products also that contain milk, and I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to be closer. That's part of my criteria. It's already here. So then when I do my search, it will filter the information for all the system that it will require, and it will tell me these are all your products that fulfill these characteristics on the allergens, and therefore you can use them. You can plan it accordingly in order to make these things work. Okay, so that's a very important part for your allergens and how you can benefit from the tool that X3 provides in order then to identify your traceability back and forth within how your raw material that includes an allergen will be affected or will be reflected into your finished good products. Okay. So that's a little bit about general conditions of your supply chain and how the disruptions from the supply chain you can avoid it by using a very powerful tool like MRP, and then they will tell you what to buy and when or what to do your process. Okay, so part of the process is about a traceability. So traceability is basically part of your quality control records. And as you see, I changed a little bit into one additional dashboard. So also each and every of these areas is a specific profile, specific dashboard that for each and every person in your company will have available as part of the profiles. So that's also another great feature on the security that only key people will find or will need to be using the system in one area. Well, you can create a specific general dashboard. So let's see about a general part within my quality control. And I'm going to just go load here into my lot traceability. So this is an inquiry that is built into a system. So the inquiry is going to say, hey, what do you want? You want to go backwards or forward? Let's just go backwards. Let's just select a specific product. And I will already know about this part. And let's just select a lot. Out of these lot numbers, we have all this information has already been defined. And let me select the wrong product. Let me just go into the other product. It's 301. And as you can see, this is also, once again, many different lot numbers. So let me select this about this specific lot number that I know that have different traceabilities and into the system. So remember, this is a demo server, and sometimes not the records, they are not completely 100% accurate, but they will. So in this case, let's say talking about this specific product, how it's been built. So it's telling me that for this specific lot number, okay, it will tell me all the history. So it's for my finished good product, which is coded FIN. Now it's telling me that I have a delivery for this specific customer within 100 cases. I have then 10 cases. I had a work order receipt, which is basically my entry of 500 units or cases. And out of this, all these materials were supplied to your clients. And of course, they are also tracked. Who's the client? Who's your a person that received this specific material? So if I move forward within my tracking, I'll see that the next level, well, is used to have my intermediate function, intermediate profiles, and also being used about other specific products. Okay, so if I just go here to my finished goods and my intermediates, now in my intermediates, whenever I expand my intermediates, I see that my intermediate now is being built by my raw materials, and each of them has specific lot tracking number. So in this case, it's telling me that, well, I received 200 pounds for these suppliers. This is the receipt number. This is my supplier. I received 200 pounds, and I use, out of these 200 pounds, I use 30 pounds. So technically, I still have 170 pounds in my stock, and those would be part of your tracking numbers for this specific lot number. So as you can see, I have also my raw material 306 in each of them. I have flour, cranberries, wheat products, sugar, granola, cashew, and everything of your components that are linked to my finished good product, that all of this information is being tracked within my production bombs and my recipes. I can have a complete full traceability of this. This is a backward traceability. So let's just select this one about arrow 306 with this lot number. And then we're going to see how now the system will manage about a traceability moving forward. Because once again, you can do it that way. So instead of backwards, now I'm going to change my code, ROA 306, RAW 306. The lot number I already copied. So I'm going to do my selection, my display and selection. So in this case, now it's going to be providing me the information saying, well, for this specific traceability, for this specific lot number, this is what happened. And these are all the finished good products, all the intermediates that were affected for this specific lot number. So once again, going forward, this is a 30 pounds that it got used. These are 75 that it were as part of your work receipt and work issue. And this is each and every of your information and each and every of your sales finished good that this raw material got affected or got used in all of these sales and deliveries that at the end you will have as part of either your work orders or your deliveries that you have directly to your clients. So that's part of the traceability, complete traceability within your lot management, moving forward from your raw materials all the way to your finished goods. Okay. And that's a very important. So whenever you will need to file something, it's in the quick of the hand. Just select the product, select the number, boom, you have all the information tracking about your movements of your inventory. Okay. So the expiry condition, okay, that's also a very important part. So expiry condition, it also tells me when the expired product would be gone due, about when normally you receive it. And sometimes whenever you receive it, it's not that date whenever you started. But of course, you also need to take in consideration what is the expiration date that your supplier is providing it to do. So that information is also what in the logistics environment we call the FEFO, first expiry, first output. So that's also part of the process in order then to do the manufacturing, and in order then to do a work order selection. The system has the capability to identify which material should be used before other ones, even that they have been received prior. Then this is the most important product to be used because it's next to get into the expiry. So that's also part of the expiry management, and everything normally is being managed within your products, and all the records are basically tracked once you do a purchase receipt. So let's just talk about a little bit about a holistic point of view from your purchasing receipt. This is a general part. This is whenever you create your purchase order, you create your orders directly to your suppliers. And in here you have all traceability, all information, all negotiations that you're going to have to deal with your suppliers in one single screen. So in this case, are your products, different products that we can just manage. And once again, you'll manage about when this product is going to be available. All your taxes, also part of your regulations, everything is also basically used and created in one single transaction. Part of your costing is also being part of the system. Okay. Once you have a purchase order created, then at any time, whenever it is required, you create a purchase receipt in a very similar transaction. And in this case, let's say the purchase screens, they would be managed by the people directly are into the shop floor. So they're going to select what are the orders that they are going to select, and they're going to process that part without really going directly into any other problems than doing a couple of clicks into the system. Of course, these are already being processed. Basically, having no open orders to be received. Okay, but that's basically kind of a general concept of a purchase receipt works. Here in this case, it's a raw material linked into this purchase order within the quantities, and this goes directly into your system, into your inventory. Now you also have the chance to put it into your quality control process. Then once again, your quality control process would go and enter into the system in order to make it now available. So from your suppliers, you have also your receiving also from internal suppliers as part of your materials, part of your own production. You go directly to your QC, you go into your workbench, you define if the material's already been accepted, you need to pass it, or you need to reject it and place it because it did not went through the system. If it's rejected, then you can decide if it goes back to your supplier return or if you dispose it or how do you dispose it. If it's good, then of course you go directly to your working bench. Okay, so you have part of that general, very high proficiency detail about your quality control process. Okay. Let's talk about generally a little bit about your costing. So once a work order is being completely tracked within the system, and that's going to open a little bit about how this transaction looks good. Oops, let me just go back. That was the incorrect key that I pressed. This one. Okay. Then you go directly to your work center. So let me just go directly to my work order, how it's basically done and tracked into the system. So this is a work order, is being created, is already been released. And as you can see, if I just click here into my status, it just provides me with a real nice graph saying that it's pending. It's telling me what is the product that is supposed to be used. And if it's already been used, I'll have an additional graph here that it will tell me how much it got produced. Similar to my components, what are my raw materials that are going to be used? And also, once again, what are my operations? So this information will be tracked into the system about how much product, how many, what was the manpower and infrastructure that I used in this work order, how much product as part of my components I used, and how much product I create as part of my process. Okay, so after a work order is being tracked, after the work order has been closed, has been reviewed, then we can just go here and to check about my WIP cost inquiries. So in also, once again, in a couple of clicks, you can have the option to say, what is my condition of each and every of my costings of my work orders? And it's just a selection of these bakery foods of this product. It's just telling me that it's already been closed and costed. It also tells me about, well, these were your actual costing process for material, for labor, for machine, for subcontract in the case that you may do some kind of subcontract, if you already also have part of your overhead, and it will tell you what is my actuals, what was the originally planned, and according to what was planned and the tracking that is done, then is the actuals, and then of course you have your variances, and all of this information, once it's done, it just goes and triggers your financials records, it triggers your GL accounts, it triggers your journal entries. Everything is done at the back end of the system. So the people that are doing the entries for the work orders, they don't need to care about what's happening within your financials. Everything is being done directly from the system. Once again, the people from the financing, they really they really don't need to know exactly what the people from the operations are doing, as long as they are doing it correctly. And of course, all the information will flow directly to them as part of your WIP in costing procedures. Just only like a very simple example about how you can manage and how you can track your cost. So of course, cost is also very important. Then out of this, you can start implementing part of your efficiencies, part of your process in order then to improve your operations. Check what are the machines that are taking too much cost, because maybe the machine requires some maintenance, or the machine even requires complete full refurbish, or even a new machine because it's so old that is not efficient. So all of that is also given you by a background within a graphic, and you have different options to see it here as a total. And then you have different options. Okay, what's happening within all my postings? And then what are my materials specific? How these materials were included? Who's the one that is has the most proportion into my costing? How are the costing? What are the variances? And of course, everything, as you can see here, all your materials is being tracked completely directly for each and every of your products, all your different costings for your overhead. So you have a complete full and traceability, not only on your about your management of your inventory, but of course what happens under your financial, under your costings, and of course that happens about your margins and all your activities that you create in your system. So I know that we already mentioned some of the timing. We are almost about the end of the presentation. So I would like just to mention a little bit for each and every of your persons would have a specific dashboard. Okay, I am used here as my full user. That means that then I can have access to a lot of information, and it's part of the demo. But in real situation, each of the persons may have a specific profile with a specific security and information that what they can do and what they cannot do. So really X3 is a very simple system, very powerful system that is managing that, is being managed for you to operate more efficiency your Baker system. So that's That's a general overview of the system that we have here, and I would like then to pass the word to Abu if you have any additional questions to a Q&A session, and go ahead with this.
Right. Thank you, Alex, for a wonderful presentation and an in-depth presentation. Since we're running out of time, we're going to wrap up the webinar. If you have any questions, here's our contact information. You can email us at info@pennymanagement.com. You can visit our website. Our phone numbers are there too. We look forward to receiving any queries, or if you need a detailed demo for your bakery setup, we'll be happy to set one up for you. Thank you, Alex, and thank you, Abu Bakr. You're signing off.